Texas is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, today Republicans offer a truly remarkable answer to unemployment insurance fraud, and that's to make a big cut in those who are already fighting unemployment insurance fraud and abuse. Likely gone will be the resources for providing the states access to databases that they use to prevent fraud by confirming identities. Once again, arithmetic is just simply not a Republican friend. They cut $5 million from anti-fraud efforts that are going on today to produce a savings of $500,000 over a 10-year period, according to the independent, nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, which estimates also that, quote, any additional recoveries from their sorry bill of overpaid benefits would be insignificant. And this rash Republican move comes on top of Elon Musk's slash and burn rampage through our government. Who knows how many civil servants have already been fired whose principal responsibility is to fight fraud. And not only what the fraud that's occurred in the past, but some shyster who's come up with a new approach. As the sponsor of anti-fraud legislation myself, legislation which Mr. Smith has refused to consider to prevent some bilking of Medicaid, I can tell the difference between a real anti-fraud measure and one advanced on behalf of administration extremists who don't believe in unemployment insurance in the first place. This bill's true objective is to penalize working Americans who, through no fault of their own, both lost their jobs during the pandemic and then received mistaken amounts of overpayment thereafter. Now, years later, instead of accepting responsibility for the failure of the first Trump administration to improperly making those overpayments, done first by the Trump administration itself, and in failing to establish safeguards so that there would not be overpayments, Republicans instead are shifting the blame from Trump's wrong to workers, to wrongs that the workers did not commit in the first place. This bill is just another part of the Trump-Musk fake war on waste, fraud, and abuse. Big claims, big claims. No proof of genuine savings. Really all about wrecking programs like unemployment insurance that the extremist Project 2025 said they wanted to eliminate, even though they don't actually help taxpayers. One thing we can be sure of is that with Trump, we have no accountability, no transparency, and no watchdogs. That's why he moved quickly to fire at least 17 inspectors generals in different agencies, including the Department of Labor Inspector General Larry Turner. At the very time he was fired, Mr. Turner received no cause for being fired, of course, because the real cause was they didn't want a watchdog there. He was about fighting fraud. He was prosecuting large, sophisticated criminal rings responsible for stealing hundreds of millions of dollars in other ways. Make no mistake, if they had really wanted to target those who are taking this money unfairly and in a criminal way, they would have taken Mr. Davis' amendment to prioritize those who are doing the most damage. I believe that Trump, Musk, and their House Republican enablers here today are much more interested in brash declarations than in genuine savings. They have made clear that their number one priority in our committee is not unemployment fraud, but more tax breaks for plutocrats by shifting more of the tax burden to working families and irresponsibly increasing by trillions of dollars the size of our national debt. I would urge a rejection of this bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlemen.